You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Okay, good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Friday. It is the 3rd day of June 2022. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We have 2 live broadcasts each and every day. One is our live training room, which is for members only and those who are taking the 1-week free trial. The afternoon broadcast, the one that you're tuned into right now or listening to after the fact, starts at 12 noon Eastern, and it's open to the public. So there's 2 ways you can join the afternoon broadcast. The best way is to go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds. And that's going to give you one-click access to the show each and every day. The way it works is once you do the 30-second registration, going forward every day you'll get an email right before the show starts, and all you have to do is simply click the link in the email and it logs you in automatically. Now, the reason that's the best way is because it gives you access to the question box, so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days that you're out of the office, away from your desktop, maybe on vacation this time of year, and you still want to join the show live or after the fact. Just point your browser to youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live each and every day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily show. Currently there are over 2,000 daily live broadcasts archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. Let's open with a word of prayer, as we do every day. In the world in which we live today, there's so many distractions. Micah 5:5 says, He will be our peace. Over the last few years, we've watched the war waged against us and our children through our inability to shut off technology. Studies have shown us it not only has technology grown anxiety issues, destroyed marriages, squandered true vulnerability, watered down the way we have relationships, and one of the biggest impacts of all, taken childhood away from our children. It's changed the way parents parent, even Christian parents. It's turned many into less intentional, self-serving, and reliant on the things of this world, people, rather than parents who cling to God's great commands and designed for those who have been given the high calling of training up your children. I speak this with all conviction. Technology has become a cop-out. Even the big shots in Silicon Valley, they've made it known they limit screen time with their own children. people who produce all of this content and make it so easily available, they know it's not good for their kids. And so they don't let their kids sit in front of a screen each and every day. While there are some good things that come from technology, the bad, I believe, when it comes to children, far outweighs the good. I find that the most destructive area technology has fallen in has been the God-gifted time that He has given us with our children. Many of us have fallen in and out of this vicious cycle, only to find ourselves knee-deep in broken hearts of seeing we choose our want for quiet over engaging with them. I mean, you can be a parent, you can spend time with your child, you can talk to your child, or you can hand them a device, a phone, a tablet, a PC, a Mac, whatever, and they'll get lost in that virtual world for as long as you allow them to. And so this is just a call to each and every one of us to pay attention. Now, you might say, well, when my kids got the device, then I have peace because my kid's not bugging me every 5 minutes. Your kid's supposed to be bugging you every 5 minutes, depending upon what age they are. You see, we've somehow bought into the lie that we can manufacture peace. That peace somehow looks like giving our children something to keep them quiet. The enemy has fed the lie that peace means no disruptions or distractions. A lie that most homes around the world have bought into. I pray today that your heart and mine will agree that we cannot do this anymore. We need to learn what God's peace looks like and live from that as we steward the children that God has given us. Now in John 16:33 it says, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. In John 14:27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. And in 2 Chronicles 20:12, for we are powerless against this great horde coming against us, for we do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you. And then Micah 5:5, He will be our peace. The bottom line is, the enemy wants parents distracted, disheveled, and dependent on the world. The enemy wants us gluing our children's eyes to screens. Why? Because parents who are bought into the lie of manufactured peace are too busy to be pointing their children to Jesus. So moms and dads, as we walk boldly in the position of parenthood God has given us, we must rise up to live by the standard of His commands. We must see the cost is too high to leave unattended. We must hold fast to what we know is true and diligently teach it to our children. We must seek our peace from the only true source, our Savior. Embrace interruptions, celebrate the conversations in the car, and love your little people well. Pray with me. Father, I'm sorry that I have continued to think of peace at such an earthly level. I repent from my desire to put a screen in front of my child so that I can press pause on the high calling of being a mother or a father to a child you created and entrusted to me. Help me seek you in those moments. I want to turn on the show, hand over the phone, or grab any device to please my flesh and my child's flesh. remind us that you are our peace and that nothing can steal that promise away. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, guys, it's going to be a short show today. A little under the weather. Felt okay yesterday and had a rough night, so Michael will do his recap of the live training room, and then I will just breeze through concierge trade alerts, the Logic 247 alerts, and we'll call it a week. All right, let's start with the numbers from around the world. Let's start here in the U.S. The cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow is down 334 points, 1%. NASDAQ down 315 points, 2.5%. S&P 500 down 68 points, over 1.5%. And the Russell 2000 down 23 points, 1.25%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $1.67, trading 118.54 last. It's a gain of almost 1.5%. Gold is down $18.50, which is almost 1%. Silver is down 38 cents, trading 21.90 last. That's a drop of almost 1.75%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 347 points. The Shanghai rose 13, but the Hang Seng fell 212, which is exactly 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 74, 1%. DAX down 25, the CAC down 15. So that gives us a mixed day in Asia, a red day in the UK, and so far it's a big red Radio Friday here in the US of A. So with that, we'll go to Michael, get a recap of what happened in the live training room. After that, I'll be back, and we'll take a quick look at the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and then we'll head off into the weekend. Michael, it's all yours.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 3rd day of June, 2022. Now, let's take a look here. If you have not taken a free trial, go here to eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask from you is your first name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest training challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Now, for those of you who didn't notice, we don't ask for any credit card information here. All right. So you can tell us the biggest training challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. You can get in there and take a look, see what we have without a credit card. Hit the send button, you'll be sent to confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay. If you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So here we are. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 3rd day of June, 2022. We made 31 ticks in crude. We lost 5 in gold, and we made 52 on the ES. Put us at plus 910 on the morning session. Today, it took 2 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $125 a contract, and we took a total of 25 trades this morning. So on a month, that puts us at $2,220 a contract. That is over 3 trading days. We're now averaging $740 a contract so far per day this month. I want to get that over 1,000 by the end of next week, but that means I got to make $6,800 next week. So we'll see if we can do it. I mean, this week was a holiday week, so we'll see what we can do next week. All right. We've gone 167 days since our last negative day, and we've gone 106 days in a row so far this year, getting our goal. All right, so every day this year we've gotten our goal, and that puts us at $114,318 on the year, averaging $1,078 per contract per 2-hour trading day. If you were to quit trading when you got your goal for the day, and hang on, yeah, I've already quit trading when you got your goal for the day, and you were to add 1 contract per month, you'd now be trading 6 contracts. And see, this is the number you would be at on the month so far, quitting trading with your goal for the day. And so far this month, you would have worked a total of Looks like an hour and 15 minutes, 1.25 hours, right? Sorry, no, that's the number of trades. The number of minutes that it took to get the goal for the day. So, oh, okay, you wouldn't. So far this month, you would have worked 29 minutes, almost a half an hour, for $3,765 with 6 contracts on. Anyway, you would have averaged on the year so far $3,044 an hour. Okay. Now we'll get into the actual trades. I put this up. Let me change this back so that it is right the next time I use it. There. Okay. So we'll get into the trades. Now we ended the live training room with this highest probability long trade right here that gave 5 or 6 ticks. I didn't take that one, but what I was looking for was to double what I was at 10:55 by 11:30, and I didn't exactly double it. I did better, but I didn't exactly double it. All right, so with gold, we started off here, our first trade on gold. We had a break even right here. We missed a follow-up trade, and then we stopped out, so we're -8 ticks right there. Then here we had another missed trade that went up into some profit that I missed. I took the follow-up trade and got a break even. This was the moment in time I was basically saying that there was no trade to take right in here at the moment in time. I thought it was going to go down as we went forward because the slingshot was suggesting down, but everything up here was saying just don't trade, and it's probably going to be a little choppy in this kind of a range for the next few minutes. And those few minutes started right where that line is right there, and it was choppy. Went up and came back down without giving a trade setup. The first trade setup would have been way over here, okay, at 10:13. Well, that was just 13 minutes after I started, but nevertheless, it was there. We had a break even there. Then we picked up 2 ticks there to put us at -6 and 1 tick there to put us at -5. Then that highest probability trade happened right at the end of the session that I didn't take. That would have put us at break even. And then it did not have another trade until right here was one. Right here was one. Here was one. And right here was one. Okay, that was what we had during the break. None of them are highest probability trades. All right, on the crude oil, scroll back to the very beginning of crude. Our first trade on crude was right here. We picked up 19 ticks on that trade. And then it looks like 2 ticks on the next trade to get us to 21. Then 9 ticks on that one to get us to 30. I missed a trade there. And I was giving these numbers out. I gave these numbers out when it was down here, but I missed the trade. And then it just ran right through all those numbers. And then it kept going and going and going. And this was our moment in time. And this one here, the crude didn't do anything that I thought it was going to do. But we were halfway through a bar at the time. The current bar only had 2 ticks in it. I was saying if it closed up, our entry would be right here. And I would expect it to run right up to there. But it didn't close up. And I said, if it doesn't and it closes down, the next bar closes up, our entry would be a little bit lower, right here at 94, I think. And I was still expected to go up to there. But the next bar closed down, and then the next bar closed down. So none of those things happened. And it just got choppy and didn't give any trades. Until all the way over here was our first trade right there. And then it gave another one here. And this was actually a trade from way down here below the BBC. That was still a trade way down there. But that ran up a little bit, and there was another trade right in here for a little gain. Highest probability trades, not a lot of them. There was another break even there, another break even there. We picked up one more tick there. That goes from 30 to 31. And that was where we ended it with crude oil. During the break, I'll go over just the highest probability trades. It was 1 right here. We didn't have a lot of highest probability trades today. Okay, it was just 1 right there. All right, then we get to the ES. Now the ES is where we gained the most trades today, or the most points today. We had a couple of good trades, if I remember right. Started out right here with a break-even trade, and then we grabbed 10 ticks on that one, I think, right? Yeah, we grabbed 10 ticks on that one. Then, let's see, we had a break-even right in there. And it moved around a lot, but it just wasn't giving up a lot of trades. It looks like it might have been one more trade right in here. A trade right here that I missed. Picked up Went from 10 to 12 to 13, so I got 1 tick out of all this. Went to 13. Then went from 13 to 21, so I got 7 ticks there. Or 8 ticks there. Sorry, 8 ticks. We had a bounce off the BBC there that I missed, highest probability long trade. Another one right here that I missed, highest probability long trade. Then this was the moment in time on the ES, and I said, I think it's going to go down. I think it's going to go up to this level. Then I think it's going to make a big move down, and it did exactly that. It went down, it went up, and it made a big move down. Now we didn't start trading the ES again until, wow, way over here. So we had a break even. I forget where we were at this point. 21 ticks, I think, is where we were. So we got +1 on that to get us to 22, then +10 to get us to 32, +4 to get us to 36, then +10 to get us to 46, then +6 to get us to 52, and then a break even. And I believe that is where we ended it with the ES. It is. So let me just go through the highest probability trade setups during the break. And was that one right there? If that was not on the MA1, that would have been one right there. It would have been a break-even trade. Nothing there. Right here was one. Along, right in there. Yeah, and that's about it. Okay, and that is about it. All right, so that, let me bring this up here. Bring this up. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 3rd day of June, 2022. We made 31 ticks in crude. We lost 5 in gold and made 52 on the ES. Put us at +910 on the morning session. Today took 2 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $125 a contract, and we took a total of 25 trades this morning. So that puts us at $2,220 a contract. That's over 3 trading days, averaging $740 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And we've now gone 167 days since our last negative day. Those are business days. And we've gotten our goal on 106 out of 106 days so far this year, putting us at $114,318 a contract, averaging $1,078 per contract per 2-hour business day. If you were to quit trading when you get the goal for the day, and you were to add 1 contract a month, you would now have made, you now have worked 14.95 hours so far this year, just say 15 hours so far this year, and you would have averaged $3,044 per hour in those 15, in each one of those 15 hours. Okay. All right. To take the free trial, go to eminitrainingschool.com. Right here, all we ask for is your first name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So go click on that link. All right. All right, that is it, guys. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, it looks like you are ready.
Yes, sir. I am. Recap of the recap.
Today, it took 2 minutes and 2 trades to get to $125 a contract.
Better retune that bell. Anyway, good job.
Yeah. Tighten that thing up. All right, thank you.
Okie doke. All right, guys. As I said, we're going to go through this really quick. It won't be a typical drag it out where I explain every move the market made. I just want to show you how we're going to probably end up for the week. We're in week 200 of Logic 247. Our around-the-clock alert service covers the E-minis, crude, gold, silver, euro, and bonds. Now the Globex markets open Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern and stay open until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. So far this week, week 200, we've issued 94 alerts, 17 never triggered, still waiting on 1. We've had 76 actionable alerts, of which 18 or 24% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, using market structure and a very simple 3-step process that we teach all of our passport holders. We still have our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. And I'm going to drag those up to the big screen. If you want to grab a screenshot, you can do that. Because we'll walk through real quickly each one of the markets. So the CTAs come out shortly after the Globex open each evening. Now this is a static report. In other words, the numbers are good for the entire session. Once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times and not triggering multiple times. The way you handle this is whatever markets you trade, and chances are you don't trade them all, is when this report is published in the CTA channel, you want to make note of where price is at the time the report is published. Because in the case of the ES, if price starts trending up towards 41.94, that's bullish. Our strategy will look for opportunities to be long the market. Price starts trending down towards 41.38, that's bearish. So our strategy will look for opportunities to be short the market. Now, this is where you'll use the Logic 247 alerts and everything that you learn in the live training room every single day to yourself be able to find opportunities to be long or to be short, whatever the 30-minute roadmap chart is telling you, and then the smaller time frame that you've chosen to actually execute on and set your stop loss. That's where multiple time frames come in, that's where market structure comes in, and that's something that I teach in one-on-one mentoring sessions for all of our passport holders. So you should have had time to grab a screenshot. Okay, so let's pull this down, get it out of the way. And alright, that's good enough. Okay, let's go to the daily chart of the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Why do we always go to the daily chart of the S&P? Well, number one, most of our traders trade the S&P, but really what I'm trying to convey to you is that the deep pockets, the hedge funds, the money managers, the Goldman Sachs of the world, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts because they have very deep pockets. The way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. So the most recent swing high came in on March 29th. The most recent swing low came in on May 20th. We managed to get above the daily BBC, and then we pulled back to the step line, then we pulled back to the BBC, and from that pull back to the BBC we launched, but we weren't able to take out that high. Now the market attempted to go a little higher last night on the open, but that quickly collapsed. You'll see it as we go to the 30-minute charts. So support is the low of the day, which is also the daily BBC. BBC just means bull bear cross. Above it we're bullish, anticipating higher prices. Below it we're bearish, anticipating lower prices. Now, what I just said is true across all markets and all time frames. Everything we teach and all the tools that we provide, from the indicators to the weekly trading zones, okay, those are the indicators are your dynamic support and resistance, whereas the weekly trading zones are your fixed support and resistance for the entire week. And so my concern is that we weren't able to take out this high before the pullback. So if we close today below the BBC and below this low from yesterday, Thursday, then I would expect to see Sunday night, when the markets reopen at 6 p.m. Eastern, a leg to the downside. If buyers can just hold us right where we are, above the BBC on the daily chart, then Sunday night we should look for a move to the upside. Okay? Not a forecast, just an observation. It's important that you understand price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Whether it's a 5-minute chart of crude oil futures, an hourly chart of Apple stock, a weekly chart of your favorite crypto pair, monthly chart of your favorite Forex pair. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames, from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. And you'll notice as price got below the BBC, the pullback held, and then the pullback held, then the pullback held, then the pullback held, and then the pullback held, but the following day we overcame it. Okay, we know it's not going to hold the pullback forever. That would just create flat markets that would have no real opportunity in them. So we're prepared as futures traders. We're prepared to trade this thing long once we take out this high, and as we take out this low, we got like a double bottom right there on the daily chart. Actually, you see that swing high lines right up with these two swing lows. Okay, so that's a very important price, important area. And let's say you only trade crude, or you only trade the Dow. Spend 3 to 5 minutes at the beginning of your trading session studying the daily chart, because it is the institutional money that moves the markets. Our strategy, our indicators are not designed to outsmart the market or beat the market. We consider the market our business partner. And so all we want to know is we want to have a clear picture of what the institutional buyers are trying to do. Are buyers committed enough to drive price higher? Well, today's daily candle, it held its what we would expect to be support. Okay, and it's bounced off of it, but nothing really impressive on the buy side. Okay, even though we're above the BBC, sellers appear to have the ball, and they want to take it down the field. Okay, all right, we'll go to the 30-minute chart of the S&P. CTA never triggered last night on the long side. We did trigger on the short side. Remember, as I said, once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability that it's going to trigger multiple times and not trigger multiple times. On the first trigger, at 41.38, we dropped to 41.31. That's $350 per contract traded. Then we got back above the trigger and dropped to the target. On logic alerts and concierge trade alerts, if it's a long alert, then the final trade to target is always the weekly zone above, and on a short, it's the weekly zone below. And so on this candle, as we triggered, we came right down to 41.26 at $600 per contract traded. Now, we talked about this last night in the workshop, so if you missed the workshop last night, if you're a passport holder, you have access to the channel where the video of last night's workshop is posted each Thursday night. We talked about this bullish cross. Now, at the time we were talking about it, it looked like the market wanted to continue higher. Okay, but if you go watch the workshop, you'll hear me say and watch me draw this in. I said, however, if price gets below the BBC and starts to drop, this bullish cross right here, the first time price comes down to the area of the bullish cross, you can almost always expect it to be good support, at least on the first time down. We just did a little consolidating here, and then on the second time down, and I was typing this into the discussion group as it happened. And if you go to the discussion group, you'll see where I wrote on the second time down, okay, which would be this candle, you might very well get through that area, okay. Now, support, we traded on this candle through that support area, okay, and this low lines up with this low right here, okay, and then price pulled up and continued to drop. So from 41.38, 7 points, and then another drop from 38 to 26, and then another drop from 38 to 26. Lots of opportunities to get your goal for the day. And price is trying to rally a little bit here. Will it be able to get back above the trigger? I don't know, but if it does, it's going to put us above the BBC. And when it comes to the alerts, we only buy above the BBC, we only sell below the BBC. Now, price looks like it at least wants to run up to the weekly zone, possibly even to the BBC. That would be a counter trend trade. There's currently 10,000, I think 700 something alerts in the Logic 247 alert channel. Every one of them over the last 200 weeks is a trend trade as defined by price and the BBC. Price is above the BBC, there will only be long alerts. Price is below the BBC, there will only be short alerts. And now when this candle opened right here, okay, it was a green candle all the way up to the BBC. But by the time the 30-minute candle closed, we're left with nothing but wick touching the BBC. And that led us down to our first trigger on the short side, and then the second trigger, and then the third trigger. And then once price broke this area that we expected to be good support, this is a great opportunity to be short on a break of that low right there, something like 41.08. Took us down to 40.96, 40.97. So that's about $550 per contract traded. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with counter trend trading as long as you understand that it is a counter trend trade, and that you understand that a counter trend trade does not have the same high probability, low risk characteristics as a trend trade. Okay. All right, on to the Dow. No trigger on the long side, and we got rejected on the short side. This is where the market opened. Blue and climbing, turned to red and falling. Now on this pullback right here to the BBC, down close, plenty of opportunity right there to get your goal for the day. Then on this pullback, another opportunity to get your goal for the day. Pull back, another opportunity to get your goal for the day. And we still never actually triggered the short CTA. Okay. All right. Let's go to the Russell. No trigger on the long side. The short trigger was 1878, and it dropped right to the target. The zone is 1872/73, so that's 5 points, $50 a point, $250 per contract traded. And then we get back above the trigger, the pullback to the BVC holds, and we drop again from 1878 to 1873. It's $250 per contract traded. Now we're below the BVC, and so we could get another trigger here. Okay, because you have red and falling and the step line directly below price, I would recommend letting price trade below the step line and red and falling, and look to trade something like 1875 down to 1873. That's 2 points. Let's go for the day. Okay, in Q, no trigger on the long side, trigger on the short side. First trigger was 12,723. That would be this right here. 723, we dropped to 684. Oh, I used to have a calculator. It's buried under something. Oh, here it is. So 723, 684. 723 minus 684. 39 points, $20 a point, $780 per contract traded. Right there. Now see the wick? It got back above the trigger. Triggered again, and it dropped us to 12,609. That's over $2,000 per contract traded. And then we got back above the trigger, and we dropped all the way to the target. Now, see this bullish cross? We spiked it a little bit because there's a lot of selling pressure, but look how it bounced us all the way back above the trigger. Okay. Whenever there's a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, and it is an area, you should expect support, at least the first time down. On bearish cross, same thing, in the other direction. So on this trigger, we go from 723 to 553. 723 minus 554. It's 169 points at $20 a point. That's $3,380. No. Yeah, $3,380 per contract traded. That one trade's almost enough to pay for your passport. If you stayed with it, you know, beyond the target, then it would have paid for your passport. Okay, crude oil. Okay, we had an initial trigger on the short side, 115.40 down to 115.23. $170 per contract traded. And we triggered on the long side at 118.70. Now, you had all this room here to get your goal for the day before we even got to the trigger. Same thing here. Plenty of room to get your goal for the day before we even got to the trigger. From 118.70, we ran up to 119.42. About $700 per contract traded. Then back below the trigger, and this time we run up to 119.32. So that would be about $600. plus per contract traded. Gold, two-sided action. We triggered on the long side, 1876 up to 78.60. So that's $260 per contract traded. We got back below the trigger, and we had this wee trigger here that was good for 50 bucks. Okay, and we dropped to the weekly zone where we consolidated, and then we dropped to the zone below, from zone to zone to zone to zone, down to the zone. It's okay. 1863 took us down to 1859.3. So that's $370 per contract traded. We pull up to the BBC, the pullback holds. It holds more often than it doesn't. You can see it right here. Okay. So from 1863 down to the target, 1859, to $400 per contract traded. And then, let's see, silver. Two-sided action on silver. A 2-penny move in silver is worth $100. 22.44 up to 22.52. It's $400 per contract traded. Back below the trigger. Trigger again. That's $300 per contract traded. And then we got back below the trigger, but on this trigger, you got red and falling. See, on a long, you want blue and climbing. Red and falling means you should stay away from that trade. Okay? But then blue and climbing comes back, and we trigger at 22.44, and we make it up to 22.52. That's $400 per contract traded. See that double top right there? Okay. Then on the short side, 22.14, we dropped to 22.09. That's $250 per contract traded. And we got back above the trigger and dropped to the target. 22.14 to 22.93. That's 20. I guess I better get it right. 22.14 minus 21.93. It's 21 pennies. 2 pennies is $100. So that's $1,000 per contract move. Right here, from the published entry to the published target. That brings us all the way around the world, back to the daily chart, where the market's just kind of hanging out. Now, a few moments ago, we were sitting right on top of the BBC, but there has been some activity on the part of the buyers, because we've moved up a little bit. Now it's going to take a lot of work to get us above these highs, and then we've got 50% reverse fib as an obstacle. This trend line is an obstacle. 62% reverse fib, an obstacle. Once we close above that 62, if that's how it plays out, once we close above the 62% reverse fib, and then open above the 62% reverse fib, I will take down the reverse fibs where you draw from the high to the low, and I will draw from the low to the high, wherever it is up in this area. Okay. Alright. To become a member of the CFRN family, to have an actual living, breathing teacher teach you how to trade 2 hours a day, every trading day, unlimited one-on-one mentoring, a methodology that works as well on futures as it does on stocks, as it does on crypto, forex, options. Same with the indicators. They work across all markets and all time frames. As a passport holder, you receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and of course you receive an invitation to the Thursday night members only workshop. It's everything a trader needs for one low price, all under one roof. We truly make ourselves available to you. In fact, there's someone monitoring the various Telegram discussion groups pretty much around the clock. So if it's not normal business hours, if it's normal business hours, you can call in 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. If it's the middle of the night, we have traders around the world, so there's a high probability that one of our members is trading somewhere on planet Earth, and you can type in a question into the discussion group. When you're on the trial, you have access to the trial discussion group. Once you become a member, a passport holder, then you have access to the members only discussion group. And that brings us to our good word for the day. We started talking yesterday about how God changes us. And most of us know we need some change. So we're going to continue on that topic. Proverbs 20:30, beatings purge the inmost being. Another way God changes us is through circumstances, problems, pressures, sorrow, hardships, and stress always gets our attention. C.S. Lewis said, pain insists on being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, but shouts to us in our pain. The J.B. Phillips translation of Romans 8:28 reads, to those who love God, who are called according to his plan, everything that happens fits into a pattern for good. God chose them to bear the family likeness of his Son. Nothing can come into your life without your Heavenly Father's permission. It must be Father filtered. The interesting thing about how God uses circumstances is that their source makes no difference to him. We often bring problems on ourselves. Sometimes they're caused by other people. Every time the enemy causes things to happen to us, but the source of the circumstances is irrelevant. God says, I will make it fit into my plan for your life to make you like Jesus Christ. That means there is no circumstance from which we can't learn if we maintain the right attitude. Why did Solomon say, blows and wounds scrub away evil, and beatings purge the inmost being? Because we change only when our fear of change is surpassed by our pain. If you want to become more like Jesus, think about this. From Hebrews 5:8. Though he was a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. If God used the challenges, conflicts, and circumstances of life to prepare his Son for his destiny, won't he do the same in our lives? So instead of trying to escape your circumstances, learn from them and grow stronger. And that's our good word for the day. John had asked a question, sorry I didn't see it sooner. When you speak of red and falling and blue and climbing, are you talking about the CFMA1 or the slingshot? I'm talking about the CFMA1. You're very welcome, John. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.